Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Tukul session tonight. This is your host, John Ngong, and we thank you very much for finding the time to be with us. And as we always say, this is our space and it's our home. It's our Tukul where we come share our stories, experiences, love, learn from each other, and keep talking. And tonight we'll be talking to Alit Chier. She is here with us. Alit, hi, how are you doing?
Hi, Ngong. I'm good.
Good. Thank you for finding the time to be with us in the Tukul tonight.
Thank you for reaching out.
Good. We really appreciate your audience, and I also acknowledge some of the colleagues that we have been in this Tukul session together. And today we have a special guest coming in from all the way from South Africa. Stan Sancho is a big author in Africa, so we also recognize his presence in the room tonight. And thank you, Stan, for finding the time also to be with us in the Tukul. So, Alit,
thank you very much, John.
Thank you. Yeah, Alit, we would like to just have this quick conversation with you around books, and the Tukul community feels that books definitely is one of the superpowers that is really underrated or underutilized in the community that we live in South Sudan. And we would like to have a quick conversation around that. And before we go to that, maybe you would like to introduce yourself further. I usually don't do this well, so I'll leave it to my to my guests to do the introduction, and then we kick off the conversation. Yeah.
What introduction? What I do, or
yes,
to talk about journey in the writing?
Yes.
So I should talk about my journey in the writing.
Yeah. Just about yourself briefly, and then we go into the conversation. Yeah.
So I am Alit Chier. I am a writer. I think that's how I best define myself. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if I'm not writing, I am thinking.
Wow, that's nice. Yeah. So the writing and the thinking and something else, I think mostly go together all the time. Yeah. So Alit, you have published books in your name, even at a very early age, and so that makes me wonder, like, how did you say this is something you would want to be doing, and something you already excelled at? What would have been your journey with books and writing, and maybe some of the experiences you have had so far?
I do not understand how I grew up, and and for my parents and some all the relatives, they say I have grown up at the speed of a pumpkin. They say whether mentally or physically I have grown up at the speed of a pumpkin. Mm-hmm. And then when I was in primary school, I read a lot. I read books that were not even for high school, books that were way far, years, so many years for me to reach. And then my mind was observing, and it was growing. I don't know if it was because of the books. And I also grew up as an introvert. So I think the time I kept silent, I saw so much. I kept growing with what I saw. And then sometimes I didn't even feel normal, like a normal child. Because most of the times what my age mates found fun was not fun for me. What, so for me, it was strange. And also, I did not talk so much. Even sometimes talking to my own mother, I would write her letters to express my anger, or, somebody with me at home, but the best way I could talk to her was through letters. So for me, I think it began with letter writing. And then I taught myself everything through reading. So I think books have nurtured me. I learned everything through reading, and I learned to write in the hands of books and writers I could not meet. But when I read their books, I learned. I got to grow, and then I think after publishing my 2 books, that's in the process where I got to meet some mentors, like Gabriel Cheda, who's a literature specialist.
Right.
And then later on, I got to meet Obi, who's a Nigerian. But even though he was not an author, he kept buying for me books whenever he traveled home to Nigeria. So for me, that was somebody who saw potential in me, I think. And then he kept on giving me books for me that was very expensive for someone who is not related to you by bloodline but wants to see you grow. And then I got to read the books of Victor Lugala, Vomiting Stop Food, and then Boy John, who writes in Arabic. He doesn't write in English, but he's a very good writer. And then, of course, I read Chimamanda. Her books are really what, And Chimamanda, I don't think I knew her. I got to know her through Zach. He gave me the book Half of a Yellow Sun. That's when I got interested in her. And then,
Wow. And now talking of reading a lead at an early age. In South Sudan, we know in most of our homes, we do not have libraries. We don't have home libraries. Majority of the families. And we also live in a country that is over 70% illiterate. This is not meant to show the negative images of South Sudan, but just to state the facts that we live around. So you, as a young child growing up with the culture of reading already, did you have books at home, or did you used to tell Mama, instead of buying me a lawa, go buy me a book? What was it like at that time?
I think my granddad was where the revolution started from. My mom's dad, he's my maternal grandfather. He was a teacher. So my grandfather Boladian was a teacher by his time during the SPLM times and what. So he taught most of the generals, or however they call them, during those days. And my grandfather, until today, he's reading a lot. I think in a week he reads even 2 books until now. Wow. And every day he's writing. He has never slept without writing on his notebook. That's one. And then my mother reads a lot. Like in a week, I can find my mom reading so much, very big novels, huge ones, maybe 500 words wide, and then 500 pages and beyond. And you will find her done already with something just in the few days. And my dad reads 247, maybe people who have met him or went to his office, 247, anytime he's in the office, he's reading or he's delivering what he wants to deliver. So I think the environment contributed in a way for me. And I have never got a birthday gift for a dress. So my mother always bought for me a book. And then as I was growing up, my mother kept on delivering to me books. She kept on giving me names of people that I should look up to. So for me, that was the beginning of it all.
Wow. And also as a child, I know as children, when we're growing up, even if this is a good thing, good things, including taking bath, they would beat you first. Did you go take your bath? And then you want to go play around with other kids and not even care about important things. But now for you, already embracing the books at an early age, I don't know, did they have a timetable for you at home? They'll say, hey, I need to stop playing now. It's time for reading and things like that. Yeah.
Well, for me, as I told you, I never felt normal growing up. I felt like I was not normal. Something was wrong with me. I was not good at making friends. I did not play around with children in the area that much. Yeah. And I was so into myself. I remember my family forgot me at school up to 12 in the midnight.
Wow.
Because they thought maybe I was in a certain corner staying alone, just wanting to have my own time in a certain corner after being brought home. So then my mother realized that because she had told someone to pick me up because she used to lecture by that time. So I think she had lectures, and the person she delegated to pick me up did not come back and say I did not pick her, I think. So, I was so into myself. That's one. And I felt abnormal. I felt stupid, I think. That's how I used to feel, because I did not have the fun the kids were having. Things were different for me, and it did not look normal. I think until today, I'm still asking myself why. But I think I'm trying to adapt now to get into people, though it's still hard, but at least I know now the challenge I have, and I'm trying my best to get to communicate with people, to get to be around people. And also I'm trying to make friendship, I'm trying to make friends. Yeah.
Wow. And talking of that being abnormal, I think with the results we are seeing now, that should be the normal itself. That should what kids go through normally. Being exposed to books and being given the books as their birthday gifts, and especially for a girl child. On your birthday, like your mom coming to you with a brand new book. I know it would be chaos in some households. Like, I need a good dress, and my friend got this gift the other day, and books all the time. But wow, that was a very special environment actually to grow up in. And later on growing up, how did you find the benefits of reading manifesting themselves to you in your academic journey and also your journey now as a writer? How do you think the early reading and the exposure to books contributed to yourself as an author right now?
First, I think it also contributed negative to me, because even when I was at school, I felt like instead of just being in class wasting time, I could read this in a certain corner.
Oh.
So that was very negative. Yeah, so most of the times I think I felt like I could read, even it doesn't need me to just go to school for it. So I think I developed a certain attitude towards school at first time. So it became a challenge for me to adapt, to feel like, I need school, I need teachers. And then reading, I also felt I knew different techniques, I would have knowledge. And this is how at a young age, I think I got into the advocacy world, and I would speak confidently about something because I knew about them. I read about things. I knew my community, because I did not grow up in South Sudan. I was not born in South Sudan, but I knew South Sudan more than some people. And I think even the peace agreement, maybe 90% of our politicians don't understand it, but I read all of it repeatedly, and I feel like I know it now. So, and I feel like, why is everything not being implemented? Maybe it's because they don't want to read. So, or maybe because they don't even know that this exists in the agreement, that they need to implement it. So I think reading is so important for us to grow, for us to develop things. So it's helping me grow most of the time. It's helping me do things. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you very much. And in this audience, actually, we have people who have written books, and we also have people who aspire to write books. How much do you think reading would be like one of the most important things a writer would need to perfect or be good at?
I think it depends. There are some people who would love to not just read, they want audio, they want to listen to the book. With this new technology and development, it has eased everything. So someone can be in the bank line and they're listening to their book because of the long time they will spend. But for me, writing, because everybody will have a different experience. There are some people who tell you, I write, but I don't like to read. I found people like that.
Okay.
And for me as a writer, I think when writers read books, they should not focus on finishing books to say, I read this book, I read this book. I think if they read one chapter of the book, they just need to know the style used in that book, the language, the figurative language that is in that book. It like for you as a writer, you are just seeking inspiration from your fellow people. You're trying to learn how your others are doing it so that you can have your own style. And I think this is how I even started writing about heartbreak and romance before even having heartbreak myself. So yes, I think,
Okay.
yeah. So in high school, how my teachers discovered, or the literature department discovered, that I was a writer. I wrote short stories to my schoolmates from senior 1 to senior 6 members. I would write romance, heartbreak, and at that age, I think most of them needed them, so they would exchange that same. I would write on papers. These scrap papers. That's where I wrote most of my stories. So my schoolmates are the ones who read it, and with time, the compositions and so on, my teachers discovered that I could write. So I think that's how my English teacher reached out to my mom and said I needed help. So I think that's how now my mom, my teachers came in to help me grow in the writing world.
Wow, thank you very much, Elite. And Ellie, you actually talked of having mentors, people who are supporting you, who supported you actually at an early age to enable you read or have the space to read. Right now, do you have people you are mentoring, maybe other young girls or family members? Charity begins at home. Maybe you have young sisters or young brothers whom you are mentoring at home right now to go the same. How is it? How is it along those lines? Yeah.
For my family, I think my mother makes it look like it's a culture for you to read. And this is how, when my siblings see us reading, I have a brother. Whenever he comes to my room, because I have a very big library in my room, I think more than 200 plus, I think.
Wow.
So in 200, 500 there. So whenever he's in the room, he finds me reading, he will sit beside me and read. And he's 12 to 13 years, but he reads a lot. He's very ambitious. He's, even his mindset, I think he's too responsible and very intelligent for his age. Yeah, and my other siblings who read, I think for them, they read, even if I don't do it. Or maybe sometimes when children see their elder sibling doing something, maybe they also do it to imitate. That could be the case. Yeah, because I saw my parents reading, my grandfather, so I had to imitate maybe as a child. So I think that's how it also goes with my other siblings.
Wow.
And then for people who are not my family members, I try as much as possible to use Writers Writing Fellowship to reach out to young people who are trying to write or tell their story. So I am not sure if somebody felt mentored or inspired, but
Definitely.
I think
Definitely. Yeah.
But I think I will try as much as possible, because I learned through books, I learned through the media. I did not have serious mentors who would sit with me every day and tell me this is how to write. People just discovered in the process that this person could actually write. This is how. But I don't want people to struggle the way I struggle to get into the writing world. I want to people, because I know if I had a mentor that knew from an early age, I would publish even before my senior 2. So if I had that person, so I really want others to have what I did not have.
Well, actually, that's a very good point, Elliot, because in this audience, and also in the audience that's going to listen to us later on Facebook as we post this, or on YouTube, they are young parents, people who have actually gone to school and they can read, and they would really want to maybe extend that to their children, something like that. Do you have a word for young parents and how they may want to support their children along their reading and writing lines?
What I believe is
Your voice is breaking a little. I don't know whether it's the connection over there.
Father or the mother, but what matters so much for me is you telling the child you cannot make it look like this child has to grow. You just buy for them books and leave them alone. It's a process. It's like when you're now planting your seedling, you want a plant to grow, and for you, you sitting with that child, having a peaceful relationship, a relationship that is not toxic. Because some parents believe, abuse the child, parent, maybe the mother or the father, you start telling them these are the manners of your father or the mother. So the child, instead of focusing on growth, the child will be focusing on the negativity in the other parent that they have inherited, and why. So that negativity will grow with them as time goes. So I think good parenting also gives a space for people to read. And there are some children who are resilient, they can read in any environment, they can grow in any environment. But most of children really deserve an environment to grow. And I think this is what most of South Sudanese families, be the result of war, be the result of because the war has affected so many people in a different way, be it financially, be it parents not being with us. So many things have been caused by this war. So I think what we need now, I will still repeat, is an environment for children to grow and be nurtured.
Well, thank you very much, Liz, for your contribution.
You're breaking.
I don't know whether it's me breaking. I was also hearing the same. I hope you can hear me clearly. Liz, can you confirm you can hear me?
He's the one breaking, no? You are clear.
Hi, Mom.
I can hear you, Philip, but I was not getting the line. Can you hear me?
Yes, you are clear.
Okay, I can also hear you, Paul. Thank you very much for the confirmation. And thank you, Alid, for your contribution to the conversation here. I think I've learned a lot so far. And wow, that was really quite an experience. And I'm sure we have some points that we have really taken home here as the audience here tonight. So as we usually do, as we have listened to our main speaker members, we can freely interact. But just to structure our conversation a bit, I would allow Stan Mustancho.
You are breaking. I cannot hear you.
Oh, am I
Do you
still
hear
breaking?
me?
Yes, I hear you very well. I hear you very well, Lid. I wonder if it is the connection from my side, but I can hear you very well. Paul or Philip? Can somebody confirm?
Yes, I think at least, yes, I think at least has a problem with the network connectivity on her side.
Okay, good.
You are loud and clear.
Okay, good, no problem. All right,
it's clear from my side. Yeah.
Okay, thank you both. Yeah. So I believe Lid is hearing us, but I just wanted to say thank you very much, Lid, for sharing your experiences and also the lessons and your journey as a writer and reader. I believe this is something that the Tukul community will greatly benefit from. So usually at this stage, after hearing from you, we open up the discussion to our audience in the room. And just to keep our conversation structured, I would like to give this chance to Stan. Stan is author of so many books, and we'll hear from him shortly. Stan, if you are with us, could you unmute and say hi to the group and maybe share your experiences around reading and writing so far? Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. I think more than anything, I think this is Ali's day. So I think more than anything, I just wanted to congratulate her for her journey. I think she's gone through a different kind of journey from any of us.
Right.
And then I think I just want to also appreciate the parents that I think have nurtured her well into reading. And I think that is something that we can copy as well.
Right.
Something that we can give our children, something that we can give our neighbors' children. And then just to encourage a nation of readers, because a nation of readers is the nation that is informed and is able to take a decision without being emotional about things. Remember, we are living in countries where sometimes
Stan, I'm losing your voice also. I think I'm also losing Stan now.
We too.
Okay, no problem.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah. Okay, no problem. I think we can go ahead with the conversation. Yeah, we hear you, Ali. We were just listening to Stan, but I think we also lost him through the connection. He actually checked out of the room right now. Yeah, but we were just sharing our experiences so far.
I really can't get you.
Yeah, no, it's okay. We can hear you right now. Okay, so that's fine. Maybe we could just go on. There's a short presentation that I made just for us to share a bit about this reading thing, and maybe break away a bit from the dialogue that we have had with our main speaker tonight. So I'm just going to share my screen. It's going to be about 6 slides. And after that, we will open it up for our usual talk and the random conversation we usually have. So I'm sharing my screen right now. Somebody confirm you can see what I have.
Yes, it's clear from my side. I can see.
Okay, good. So just a few slides on books. We have been talking about books as the most underrated superpower. And as we have seen from Alice's sharing tonight, she acquired this superpower, the ability to read many books and write. She's an author just from being exposed to books at an early stage. So just a quick conversation. And before we go to that, maybe quick facts about reading and writing. Based on a few research that I made, you could see that we have over 1,000, actually 1 million books that are published every year. You can imagine how much writing is going on around the world. Over 1 million books are published every single year across the world. And then an average person reads about 12 books per year. So maybe us in the audience, we can say, hey, are we average people, or are we above average, or are we excelling? That's something you can answer on your own. But an average person reads about 12 books a year. that is about 1 book a month.
My mother is extraordinary. She reads beyond.
Wow. Okay. That's amazing.
So I think I should have invited her.
Oh, wow. That's good. She has a superpower already. And then another point is that a person actually can read about 4,600 books in his or her lifetime. This is based on a lifespan of about 60 years or about 70 years there. So imagine somebody reading 4,600 books in his or her lifetime. Sounds big, right? But now, here is the thing. The highest number of books ever read by a person were 106,000 books read by somebody called Osho Rajneesh. This person is an Indian or something. I don't know. This person was reading day and night or whatever. I have no idea. But this is the highest number of books ever read by one person.
I don't want to be like him.
and imagine this person passed on at age 58. So if he lived beyond or to the 70 years or 60 years of life, this would have gone way higher than this. I don't know.
He's my inspiration. I don't want to be like him.
Exactly. So you guys can also read later about Osho Rajneesh.
I wonder even.
He has this unique record for himself. So
terrible. I wonder even whether by competition or was he reading it for interest?
I have the same question.
I don't know. Maybe it was based on personal interest or something like that. But the person has read about 106,000 books. Can you imagine? Yeah.
I think the government of his country was taking care of him. He did not have to hustle.
Maybe they put him in a room and said, your job is just to read books.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we just want to, we have shared earlier about what are the tricks for reading and maybe writing. But I just want to share a few things here, just in a way they are presented to us also from the research that we have made here as Tukul School. So what are the tricks for reading faster? Because to me, like the point here is how do I really read faster? Number one, I get is that sometimes when I read, especially when I started off as a reader, I would repeat the words I am reading, I am seeing off the page, right? So here it says, no, that slows you down terribly. So the best way is to do not repeat the words aloud, or the best way even, as you read, there's that small voice in your mind always that tells you what I'm reading here is apple, dog, cow, man, whatever. So that voice there has to be turned off, or do not repeat the words out loud actually as you read. And then another point is to use a pointer or a finger. This looks rudimentary, but it has worked. Even you can see in the picture here, the person is reading, but with his or her hand, it's actually her hand on the page that she is reading. So she's using her finger as a pointer, but there could be other pointers also you could use as you read a book. Another thing is that do not read each word separately, because sometimes you could say, I am going to the market, something like that. But if you could read it together as a sentence like I'm going to the market, you would be a fast reader. That's what the research tells us. Also, do not multitask while you are reading. I'm a culprit of this. As I read, I'm doing something else. Yeah, but it tells us if you want to read fast, do not multitask. Concentrate on reading. Even if for like 30 minutes, make sure it's 30 minutes of reading. Yeah. And then one thing that I picked from somebody that I like is writing. Mark Manson. You guys know Mark Manson. Is an author of many books that are really critical. So he has this rule called 20, the 20% rule. It says, if you pick up a book, give that book 20% of the pages that it has. So if the book is 100 pages, read the first 20 pages. If the first 20 pages don't give you information you want, if they bore you, if it doesn't appeal to you, just drop it. Drop it and go read another book. Instead of having like boring reading for 5 days on a book you don't like, just drop it and leave it. That was like 20% rule from Mark Manson himself. Yeah. So basically, these are the tricks for reading faster that are based on the research that we made as a Tukul community. But now I have my own tricks for reading faster. These are just for Ngong. You don't need to adapt them. One thing is that you use a buddy. Like you have somebody you can, or a friend, you can have like a reading challenge with. Say, man, this week we are reading 2 books. So if you race together, you might find that that sense of competition gives you the opportunity to read more. Or sometimes you can race against your own self. Say, hey, this week I'm reading 2 books, or this week I'm finishing this book. So if you know there's a competition in the background, you are most likely to read faster or even more. And then one way also I keep my reading good is that I keep myself hydrated. When I'm reading a book, I make sure I have like enough water. I'm not thirsty, I'm not dehydrated, I'm not in a place where I'm sweating or something like that. I'm good, like the environment is good, I'm hydrated. And a cup of coffee for me is not a bad idea. I wish I have my coffee. Just like we can see here in the picture, somebody's reading and the cup of coffee in the middle. Well, that goes well with reading for me. And then another thing is that to read an evolving topic. If you read something that is updated every week, you will find yourself reading, so that next week you're also ready for the subsequent publication. So a sequel or scientific research, especially during the COVID time, there was a lot of information that was coming out. So you would go to WHO website like every single day to get new information. So that means you cannot leave behind the new information you get today. You have to read so that you proceed and get to the next, maybe and wait for the next publication. And then number 4 is that make reading as a daily habit. As we have this conversation, if I had my video on, you would have seen from my phone, I got the notification, 9:30, it's time for reading every day. Yeah, so usually it's the application. It could be Google Calendar or any application that you use to remind yourself about the reading time. If you have that, or even the ordinary calendar, by the way, you have on your phone there, can remind you that this is your reading time. So have like 1 hour or 30 minutes or whatever time that works for you. Make sure it's always like a daily habit so that your body even prepares for that. But based on your best interest, because some of us have different work schedules, different family times, and different days of times of the day when your body is ready to read. Yeah. So basically, to me, these are my 4 things, and I add them to the scientific research that we presented earlier before. So we have talked of benefits, and leaders shared with us before about the benefits that really manifested in a life later after growing up as a reader. But what we get is that reading is a mental stimulation, no doubt about it. Your brain is just like any other muscle in the body. So if your brain is activated by reading a book or by reading some pages, you know that act of you opening a book and concentrating and reading it is an stimulation to your brain. And like any other muscle, brain has to be used regularly in order to not lose its power. Just like they always say, use it or lose it. If you don't use a muscle, you lose it. If you use it, you become strong. Just like the way people go to gym so that they become strong, they grow their muscles. That's the way your brain also works with books. And then if you are let's say you have like a tough day or tough time or something stressing you out, and you immerse yourself in a book, wow, that story is going to carry you to a different world, and you'll forget your stress. So reading is a trick for relieving oneself with stress. To me, writing here, I would put writing here as a way of relieving myself of stress. If I am writing poetry or any other line, usually it makes me go to a different world and I forget my daily stress completely. And then cumulative knowledge, Alid already shared with us. Yeah, the more she read, the more she accumulated knowledge on certain things, even including the peace agreement that people are struggling to disseminate here in South Sudan. Yeah, so knowledge here as a knowledge comes to us in bits. So the more you read this, you get more knowledge in that. And we know this. They say if you read consistently about a topic for like 5 years, you are already an expert in it. Where does knowledge come from? From the accumulation. That's why you say you read this book and the book will recommend you to another book and it will recommend you to another website, things like that. And reading also expands your vocabulary. Have you ever seen people who are really good at reading? They always find a way to when they are talking or they have public presentation, their words and their vocabulary or even their language is different. It's not like mundane one. If I would say if we don't read, our language will remain basic and mundane. It will just be grammatically correct. But if you are a reader, it will manifest in a way you will have new words, new terminologies. And by the way, as fields of studies that we usually go to university for, like agriculture, economics, whatever, all those fields, they have evolving terminology all the time. So if you are somebody who has not been reading about them and you want to present, people would know. But if you have up-to-date information about what is happening, people would know also. this person has the right vocabulary for whatever topic he or she is talking about. Memory improvement, I will not talk about that because definitely, as you train your brain, we said before, you stimulate your brain, it becomes good at what it does. Brain is for memory. And the more you read, the more you also strengthen your memory. And then again, just a quick part 2 of that, strong analytical skills. Yeah, to me, this is also something I have really embraced a lot. The more I read, the more I have ideas that are my own, but a bit critical, a bit deeper. Actually, to me, this is a bit, if you see me sharing like a wild thought, just know it is based on maybe certain reading or certain contemplation on certain idea that I might have read somewhere or heard or thought about at my own time. And then improved focus and concentration, no doubt. We said before, when you are reading, you are doing it. No multitasking, no nothing. Better writing skills, I don't even need to talk about this because the leader already shared with us that she found it very useful in a journey later as a writer because she was already exposed to reading. Another thing is this, tranquility or intellectual happiness. When we were starting of like my first training was in philosophy, we're asking ourselves, what do you even use philosophy for? You can become a doctor, you can become an economist, you can become like a business manager by studying philosophy. But then we were told, hey, there is something called intellectual happiness. This is something you will not get anywhere else. So you have to embrace that philosophy in order to cultivate your intellectual happiness. And indeed, when we're about to graduate, we're like, I wish we could continue with philosophy. It became so sweet. Yeah. So that internal peace and how you become confident with ideas is something you also cultivate from reading. And of course, books are also for entertainment, and they're actually the cheapest means of entertainment. You don't need to subscribe to the DSTV or Zuku or whatever in order to have your monthly reading. If you have a book at home, that is already good. You have a library at home, the way Liz said before, she has over 300 books in a library. She doesn't need to subscribe. And if she bought them, it was only one-time cost, and that is it. So free entertainment right there. And then there are some sites that I would like to share. Sorry, I went a little bit ahead. There are some sites that I would like to share with the audience here, because to me, they have really helped me to progress or strengthen my reading. One is the PDF drive. You can see the link right there. I will share this later. pdfdrive.com gives you books in millions for free. So if you go there and you type your own interest, you're interested in management, you're interested in economics, you're interested in whatever field you are, just go there, type it. You get your book for free, download and go home with it. Another thing is, another website is called the Ocean of PDF. This is exactly like just PDF Drive. I think they are like competitors or whatever they are. They have the same philosophy. If you go to oceanofpdf.com, you can also download any book you like. My experience with this tool is that PDF Drive has more books than the Ocean of PDF when I do a quick search. Another website is called medium.com. Here you can write and read for free. Articles come to you in thousands, but you can, this is based on the artificial intelligence. So if you're a person who likes to read about, let's say you like to read about psychology, it will be giving you articles that are related to psychology. If you like to read about economics, you like to read about management, you like to read about scientific publications, it will give you information based on what you read every day, because this is an artificial intelligence based kind of publication. So this is what I found very useful about it. And you can even follow authors. If there's one author you like his or her writing, you can definitely, you will always be fed with his or her publication every time they come out. So with Medium, there is a bit of restriction. There's the premium where you can have like total access. You pay for it very cheap. I pay like $5 every month for Medium. So it's something I don't count. But if you don't want to go to the paid side, you can also read for free on Medium. And then for Blinkist.com, this is also another paid website. And for Blinkist, you also pay as less as, I don't know how much, because I do my yearly subscription for Blinkist. And Blinkist is, the good thing with Blinkist is that you have a book that is given to you as an audio. So you can listen even while you are at work to Blinkist.com. All the books, all types of books are there. And the good thing with Blinkist is that the books are all nonfiction. It's based on reality, people's ideas and concrete thoughts about certain things. That's what you get on Blinkist.com. And so you can listen to the audio, you can also read. Yeah, so to me, these are the sites I've used to survive with my reading and then also my writing skills, because they are awesome readers or writers I've really found on this website, and they have helped me a lot. And I have a digital library. Actually, my library is bigger as a digital one than the one I have, the physical one I have in my house. Yeah, so I get most of the information from PDF Drive or original PDF for free. But if you also have good means of getting whatever you want, you can still go to the regular sites like Amazon, things like that, but you will still need to pay for those. But here, it's for free. And anytime you are connected, you're good. Yeah. So basically, that's what we have tonight in the Tukul. Guys, remember to subscribe to our YouTube. And we thank you very much for the audience you're giving us tonight. So I will stop the presentation, and then we go back to the room. Thank you, guys. So let me hear if you want to react to the presentation or to at least sharing or the words we have heard from Stan before the internet interruption happened. And as we usually do, guys, if you have a point, raise your hand and maybe throw a few lines in the chat, and we go on. Yes, Stan, I see your hand. Welcome back.
Hey, John, thank you very much for the presentation, and nothing to add it as well. And then, yeah, if you can kindly just share that presentation with us so that we can learn more. And
Sure.
basically just to say also, we're looking forward to another session. And I think we will expand also to our groups this side, so that many group book, clubs can also benefit from this important, learning session. So I think that is what I'm going to do from our side.
Wow,
So
thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, definitely. We will share. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right. Ali, I'll see you back.
Yes, I am back.
Good. Welcome back. I think the connection was. Yeah. Okay. Good.
I'm using a Wi-Fi that was being interrupted, but I'm now fine.
Okay. Good. All right. Yeah. So one way also, if you guys have your personal email account, you could share in the chat, and then I can forward the presentation too. Yeah. Philip, I say you raised your hand. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much, No. And also the team in the Tukul. I have to apologize to Alit and Stans. We are looking at your background because you have light. For me, I'm in darkness. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Thank you so much, Ngong, for comprehensive presentation and some few clarification from Alit. Otherwise, thank you so much for highlighting us on how to read and the books you have publishing. I would like to know from you, at least, I'm not sure from the rest, but introduction part bit of your background, I didn't understand well, maybe my personal issue on like the first book you have written, I mean, and published. At what age, briefly, you didn't go far.
Yeah.
At what level in your study And up to this time, how many books have you publishing so far? And maybe what were the challenge? I would like to get some a bit clarification over there, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Philip. So, Alid, would you like to go with this, or would you want to add some questions to this? Then you answer once.
I think they can add questions and then I answer at once.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, guys, if you have any question for Alid, feel free to add it. But at the moment, I do not see a raised hand. So maybe Alid, you can answer Philip's question. And if there will be more hands raised, we'll give them the chance too.
Okay. So the book I first published and when I published it.
Yeah.
So my first book was published 2015. That was the first book. And I think around 16 to.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I was around 16 to 17. I wrote the book when I was at early age. I wrote them on my English book. So whenever my teacher said he wanted our compositions, I would not write a new composition. I will send parts of that book. Yeah, for the teacher. So one of the days, my teacher realized that my stories were not different, they were flowing. So he called and started asking. So when my English teacher saw that I was writing, he said, you need to do this. This is where you can grow. So he said, you can publish this. And I told him this is very small to be published. I felt like it.
Yeah.
So he told me, no, you only can add a few things if you want, but this is your first publication, and you don't want to add nonsense to what is already there. So if the little you are publishing can make sense, then you don't need to add a lot of it. Yeah, so that little pamphlet was the one published when I was in senior 2. And then it was published by my English teacher and my mom. They were the ones who grew. I was not ready for the public attention. Yeah, I think that's why I did not want to publish, but they pushed until it had to be published. And from there, I published my other book. It was just a collection of emotions. Like I said, I wrote about heartbreak before having one. So, so my second book, The Battle Within Me, is
I think there's a bit of interaction
to bring
again.
to the public. The Battle Within Me. So there are some stories I'm not ready to take to the public now, I think, because I feel the environment is not yet ready for the readings and but sometimes I even write political stories that I see in the day in form of romance. So sometimes, unless somebody pays a deep attention to the poem, they will not understand I'm talking about politics, or I'm trying to say something political in form of romance or a love story. Yeah. So I think I answered now. My first book, and my second book was 2018. That's The Battle Within Me. So why I did not publish up from 2018 until now is because I'm still trying to find a publisher that will be publishing my books. I want to find a permanent publisher. I don't want to be publishing with different publishing houses every year. Yeah, so I want to have that publishing company that will be consistent with me marketing my books and doing the work that is supposed to be done by a publisher.
Wow. Thank you, Lid. There's another hand raised, and it is coming from Joseph.
Hello,
Ball.
Mom.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, Philip.
Sorry.
Yes, Philip. I can hear you.
She didn't answer the third question. Was like, what were the challenges facing you along your publishing?
The challenges, one was I was not ready for the public. That is one challenge. Another challenge is I found it hard to accept the fact that what I'm writing would be accepted by the public, because sometimes we write our stories and we don't know the public reaction or how our readers will react to the story. So at first, from my first book, I undermined the fact that that the story might not be accepted or the book might not be that good for the environment. But to my surprise, so many people liked it. So I think self-doubt was one thing. And then with the second book, I think I was also scared of the environment because of the way our community looks at some topics. There are some things we are not supposed to talk about. For example, if you find a girl talking about sex, that is like a taboo, or that is a spoiled girl.
Right.
Or you find a girl talking about romance. So for me, I think that was a revolution. That was that was being bold to just publish. At first, I think there was that fear. What will the public think about it? But at the end of the day, I got to know that as writers, we just have to be authentic. It doesn't matter how the public will take the story. I mean, this is what I can give you, and this is what is inside me. So if you don't like the way this is written, maybe you go write your own, and now the public consumes what the public consumes. So it's tough. And another thing is the fact that I did not have someone that already published talk to me through it.
Yeah.
So I feel like I was growing a tree in a desert, and it was hard. And another thing is an environment that supports, because I think our environment for a writer to grow is not yet that safe. For example, let's say the space to write, or the technical support you would need, like editors and so on.
Thank you very much, Elite. I think I'm losing your voice again. Maybe it's the connection issue. Wondering if you can still hear us.